But how is all that going to be impacting our Indian markets? We have a research team joining in with us to tell you how the trade setup is looking like, which are the important stocks to watch out for in trade, what is going to be the F&O activity. Hormas, Vamakshi as well as Sudarshanaya, good morning and thank you so much for joining in with us. Hormas, first up, starting with you. Qs doesn't seem to be too exciting, at least what we're seeing coming in from the US market or the Asian market open. What are we watching out for today?
Morning, Vinny, and it's very difficult to find something positive when everything around you is in the red. And despite the fact that we are opening gap down today, there are multiple negative triggers that we need to react to, and that includes the sell-off that we saw in the US markets on Friday, which we just spoke of, the dollar testing levels of 110, the crude oil prices rising to a 3 to 4 month high, Brent crossing 81, the treasury yields nearing that mark of 5% in the US. So there are multiple negative triggers that the market has to react to. And we saw some glimpses of that in Friday's session itself because of the sell-off that we saw in the benchmark indices as well. The Nifty making a low of 23,344, and it is only courtesy the IT stocks led by TCS that there was some recovery from the lows of the day, and yet we have closed below the lows of 31st of December as well as last week. So there are some important levels that were broken on the benchmark indices. But while the Nifty did see some recovery, there was significant pain seen in the broader markets, with the mid-cap index and the small-cap index down anywhere between 6 to 7% last week, and 1/3 of the small cap index, which is almost 33 stocks, ended 10% or lower last week. So there was some pain seen in the broader markets. The only positive, if you would like to call it that, is the November IIP number, which was significantly above estimates. But then of course that's a dated number, and how much weightage would the market would want to give that is only remains to be seen. There will be earnings reactions today. DMart, after the CEO transition, the earnings, the price target cuts that have come in as well. PCBL reported results, as did Just Dial. But now, after the key levels being broken, the lower levels come into play again for the Nifty and the Nifty Bank as well, because both of them have now significantly drifted away from their 200-day moving average. The November lows of the Nifty, which is 23,263, comes into play yet again, and the Nifty Bank is already below the lows of the November lows. So that's another negative for the index. Among the key triggers, of course, inflation data comes out later this evening, and 9 Nifty companies report this week, which include the likes of Infosys, Reliance Industries, Axis Bank. So there is plenty to watch out for on the domestic side as well as on the global market front. But right now we are opening gap down and plenty of negative triggers surround us.
Okay, a lot of negative triggers that we're watching out for, opening gap down. That's the cue looking like for the Indian markets. But yes, there are going to be some stocks that we are keeping an eye out on this morning. Vamakshi is here to give us that list of stocks. Good morning, Vamakshi.
Well, good morning, Vinny. Let me first start off with DMart. Revenue saw an uptick of 17.7%, coming in at 15,973 odd crores for the company, but the margins have contracted from 8.3% to 7.6% on a year-on-year basis. Just Dial's the margins have improved from 22.7% to 30.1%. Resultantly, net profit is seeing an uptick of almost 42.7%, coming in at 131 odd crores. PCBL's margins have contracted from 16.9% to 15.8%. Resultantly, the net profit is seeing a hit of almost 40% on a year-on-year basis. Ugro Capital reported its Q3 business update, while AUM saw an uptick of almost 32.2%, coming in at 11,050 crores. The gross loan origination was also up nearly 32.1%. Adani Wilmar will also be in focus, because Adani Commodities, who is one of the promoters of the company, will be exercising oversubscription option of the OFS for 1.51% stake, and the floor price of the issue is expected to be at 275 rupees per share. Bari Energies will be acquiring 100% stake Enel Green Power India from Enel Green Power Development for nearly 792 crores. Biocon is also on our radar, because US FDA has classified Biocon biologic site in Malaysia as voluntary action indicated. Indian Overseas Bank has said that they've invited bids to sell nearly 46 NP accounts of 11,433.72 crores. Signature Global has bought 16 acres of land parcel in Haryana, and the land has an overall potential developable area of approximately 2.73 million square feet. Oberoi Realty also on our radar. That is because Slum Rehabilitation Authority has appointed the company as the developer of nearly 10,300 square meters of land in Bandra, and the company expects to be entitled to a free sale component of around 3.2 lakh square feet. Suntech Realty reported a pre-sales uptick of almost 40% in the third quarter. Collections, however, were down nearly 23.3%. And lastly, focus on Interarc, and that is because they've received orders worth 221 crores in semiconductor and lithium-ion battery sector from Tata Projects.
Thank you so much for that, Vamakshi. Keep an eye out on all those stocks this morning. But finally, Sudarshan is also waiting by to tell us what's going to be happening in the world of FNO this morning. Good morning.
Morning, Vinny. So amid continued weakness, we saw Sensex and Nifty falling more than 2% last week, but major fall was seen in the broader markets, and mid-cap index had fallen more than 6%, the biggest fall in a week that we have seen in last 2 months. And for today also, GIFT Nifty is indicating a gap down start. Currently, it's down almost 200 points. Talking about the flows in the cash market, DIs continue to buy while FIs remain on the sell side. FIs have sold more than rupees 2,200 crore on Friday, while DIs have bought nearly rupees 4,000 crore. In the future side too, FIs continue to sell. On Friday, we saw FIs selling more than rupees 1,000 crore, and with this, they have added long contracts of just more than 500 contracts, and also they have had short contracts of more than 10,000. And with this FI's long exposure, only positive, if I can say, we remain on the oversold zone, and currently FI's long exposure now reduced to nearly 16%, while on the client side, it remains healthy and it's nearly 72%. Talking on the option side, 23,500 and 23,700 call have seen healthy additions of more than in the range of 26 lakh to 12 lakh shares. On the put side, 23,400 put has seen addition of more than 15 lakh shares, and 23,000 put has seen addition of more than 14 lakh shares. Now, with this, support for Nifty is now seen somewhere around 23,300. That is the key level, and resistance is now moved to 23,600. Lastly, stocks in focus. Keep an eye on the IT stocks, because over the next few days, majority of the IT companies will be reporting their Q3 earnings.
Okay, Sudarshan, thank you so much for that. Keep an eye out on those important FNO cues this morning. But